So, you want to know how to beat Genichiro in the tutorial, huh? Alright, I'll teach you how to blow his face off. But first, I need you to do something for me. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll show you exactly how to kill this bastard. Alright. Listen up. First thing we gotta do here. If we really want to beat Genichiro like this, we need to be at peak physical form. This is at the very beginning of the game after getting your blade and picking up the single healing pellet from upstairs. In this bag right here. We need to use a little bit of a odd strategy. You want to pull out this specific setup for your items. And you want to specifically use the homeward idol. Using the homeward idol here will put you back in front of Kuro with max health. This is obviously very important. Now, I'm going to be going through this area very, very jauntily. I'm going to be going through it very quickly and showing you what to do. Also, if you use the homeward idol there, it does reset all enemies. I'll show you what to do and how to do everything here. It is very important that you are very careful within this area because any amount of damage is pretty much permanent unless you use the homeward idol, which does reset the enemy's positions. So, after taking out these three, we can kind of jump at this last guy when he gets close enough. 2, 3, 4. This is under the assumption you are a somewhat experienced player that is having trouble, struggling with beating Genichiro at the very beginning of a playthrough. So I'm under the assumption you already know how to deflect and everything, but if you don't, if this is your first time seeing, well, this game, Sekiro, then deflecting is done by hitting basically an opponent's attack with your own guard, just as you guard. It is very, very quick. And very hard to do without proper timing. Alright, something we need to know from this guy is he's pretty much your only big threat in this area, outside of Genichiro himself. You can kind of mash him down. I purposely took damage there specifically to show you what you can do with the idol if you end up taking too much damage and are not confident in your abilities. So if you have the idol in your inventory and you kill this guy, I will put you at 2 pellets, by the way. You kill this guy and you use the idol, you will respawn very close to where you already are. Very close, in fact. So, this is very important to keep in mind, because if you mess up too badly, you can get all your health back, just like that. Just like that, and get all of it back. Do keep this in mind, and I would personally use this setup for items. Keep your gourd handy as well. You have to be very patient in this fight. Very patient. It is a very slow fight if you want to beat him outright. If you want to on-site Genichiro, you gotta be very, very, very patient. But you also gotta be very proactive with that. So, let's begin with this. Basic rules, as I'm making my way there, the basic rules of the fight overall. First one, you have a counter for pretty much everything he has with the exception of his stab attacks. His stab attacks you do not have a counter for. We're going to pick up this last one. You do not have a counter for his stab attacks, neither do you have a counter for some of his sweeping attacks. Genichiro is built so he can do his stab attack. He has 2. He has one where he jumps into the air and slams onto the ground and then stabs you. And then he has a second one where he can put it into combos or do it outright. I'll show you what I mean in the fight because I will be freeze framing in the fight to show you what I mean. So from here, once you have this set up with your items, you want to put the ash in this specific spot as well. So you can quickly swap to it if need be after all your healing items are done. You want to use the ash in the second phase of the fight, usually to cancel arrows but to also get damage. It is very important that you learn what a stab is as well during this, as this stab will do most of the damage you need to Genichiro. This stab is incredibly important, and with this fistful of ash, you can stab him twice without consequence. So, when you're ready, I'll get into the fight now. When you're ready, press inspect. Alright, let's get into the fight. Alright, I'm going to do a video playthrough here of the entire fight to show you exactly what is required and what you must do. I'm going to be pausing intermittently to show you guys exactly what kind of strategy you have to take here. So on your first approach, you actually do want to be kind of aggressive here, although you want to be passive aggressive. You want to have good patience in this fight going in. So let's start here. Genichiro will usually come in with that specific upward swing. He will come in with an upward swing and then usually do a 2 to 3 hit overhead combo. This right here, where he suddenly swipes to the left, spins, swipes to the right, and then kind of curves his way to the left, this is a grab attack he will do. This grab attack is actually your primary way of doing damage to him, as you can get a full stab on him as he does it if you're a good distance and still be able to be safe. While he does that attack, you see he will occasionally run to the right. That is a sweep attack that you want to avoid. This sweep attack does a good bit of damage and will knock you off your feet. He will sweep like that where you were, and now you can't get a stab attack here, but you can get good poise damage if you're close enough. I was not, however. This attack where he jumps into the air, this is actually quite the dangerous one, because he will jump into the air, you have to parry it, and he will immediately follow up with a stab as he is covered by the smoke screen. This is an issue for you. This stab is your biggest problem with Genichiro. This stab, you have no answer for but deflecting. You can only perfect deflect stab attacks. You cannot block them. This stab is the only thing you do not naturally have an answer to. You have to perfect deflect it. Once you do, you'll be a safe distance away, no matter what. And because you can only perfect deflect it, you'll be safe. He can also throw them in at the end of combos, as you see there. Most of his attacks are overhead, so you'll see them coming. But he can throw it in at the end of a combo like this, and once again, you have to perfectly deflect it. You cannot be poise broken by this because you can't actually block it. So you'll always be safe and at a good safe distance while you're doing it otherwise. In situations where your poise is pretty high like that, just block. Just block like I'm doing here and let him approach you so you can get a good few deflects on him. You just gotta take your time. Like that. Now, I do make a good few mistakes in this fight, but you just gotta take your time. Once you see that, kind of back off, come in with a stab so he has to deflect it. You gotta constantly deflect his stabs. They are your main issue with this. And as you see, I deflect a good few of them in the fight. I kind of end up with a bit of a bad hand later in the fight, but I use my resources pretty well. Once again, when you see that, just back up, stab him, and then go back in. Yep, it's just like that. You need to constantly repeat this. That right there, as you saw, when he came in like that, I canceled his attack by swinging and then blocking, which forced him into a different combo and let me get more poise damage on him. You can hit him while he runs to the right like that, but I would not suggest it. This right here, when he takes this position, he's going to do I believe it's a 9-hit combo, which will push you back. This is your best chance to get a lot of poise damage on him, because none of these are stabs. Do your best to deflect that. He is kind of stuck in place. Always remember to stab when he does his grapple. He is kind of stuck in place there, so it's good. You can get good damage off on him. When he is done, when he is grappling like that, you can stab him, like I said. And the more damage you do to someone in this game, the faster their poise will go up and the slower it will go down. As you saw there, he threw another stab at the end of a combo. Just be ready for this, because he does this frequently. As you see there, I got hit because I wasn't quite ready for it. You got to be ready for those stabs. They're your greatest weakness in this fight. Once he pushes you back like that, just guard and just kind of keep the pressure on him, because you're not going to be able to beat him through doing damage to him. You gotta break his poise. Once again, stab. After every stab, he's pretty much stunned for a good amount of time. Get back, you can dodge backwards, stab him. It's definitely a game of stabbing. Once he's in this, just try and deflect as many as you can. So long as you have good poise, so long you won't break your poise, and then just keep going. Just keep going. Go into it. He will occasionally do that after a stab, that swing where he goes past you. You can hit him when he's like that, when he's in the air, but it's too risky because there's always going to be a stab in his first phase coming directly afterwards. Once he sweeps the ground, kind of stab at him, you can cancel that if you really need to, but this ground sweep is actually pretty good. As he approaches, you can kind of occasionally cancel his... Yeah, he can also do that out of nowhere. You can occasionally cancel his stance, but he can do that stab from nowhere. And as you see, I actually get caught off guard by that hard enough to actually have to retreat and heal and to rethink my situation. So, when you get rid of his first health bar, he will actually start working in his bow to his combos. The 9-hit combo, which I've mentioned before, will now have a small... Sorry about hitting the microphone there. It'll have a small pluck of his bow, where he fires his bow, if you're not within range of the full combo. He also will start doing this a little bit more often. This combo here. The Waterfowl Dance-esque combo. And he was also going to be a lot more aggressive, which is actually good for you. Now, I do want to show you something here in the fight. He uses the stab. I get hit. You see, I tried to block there, but did not work. This is a stab. And he's going to be very aggressive. My stamina gets broken here, but luckily enough, that was the end of his combo. This right here is what I'm talking about. He will do that jumping downward stab, which actually does count as an unblockable attack now, as you saw there. It's a little bit too fast. You kind of want to avoid that. Keep away from him when you think he's going to do that. I end up healing here, and I get into a bit of trouble here. This is a good example of what I'm talking about, what he's about to do here in a few moments. See that? I saw him getting ready to do that dash. I threw the fistful of ash at him, and I stabbed him. Good damage is a stab. Do it a second time. You want to save these until the second part of his phase. He will do that occasionally out of nowhere. I don't end up getting a stab here. I'm a little bit too far away, and I end up getting hit. So just fall back. If ever he's doing this, fall back. As you see there, is when he raises his bow like this, he usually will not do a multi-shot. He will do a long charge shot. You don't have to parry this, but it is suggested that you parry it, because it has a very, very long recovery time if you do not. There you go. He will do his full charge, and that will knock you back. He will do a sweep here. Just keep on guard. He can, in his second phase, he will begin to combo his abilities together, so he'll do a sweep into a stab. You can dodge backwards out of that one if he does the sweep first, because he's just far enough away from you. But as you see, I get hit again, and it's come down to the wire. This is an important part to note. He jumps here, but it's not his unblockable, so he jumps. I deflect it, and then he will slash. He will do a sweep, so you can't block it. He'll try and trip you up here. The way you can tell which one he's doing is by the glint of his blade. As you see, right where my mouse is right now, there's a glint where he's spinning, where his blade glints through the smoke. You need to pay attention to that, because that's your way of knowing what he's about to do. So he is spinning right now. He's sweeping me. So you gotta jump backwards. Do not try and deflect that. You will die. Here's a good example of what I was speaking about before. 9-hit combo, good amount of poise damage on him. At this point, I'm kind of got the pressure on. My health is low, so I just fall back and I block. Your poise goes down faster when you block in this game. So you have more poise, get a little bit, kind of drop your guard occasionally in the fight, and you should be good. He goes past me here, and he does his throw again. I stab him. Get good damage on him. Now me and him are roughly the same poise amount. Mine is a little bit redder than his, so I have a little bit less health than he does. But it is all around working out pretty well. Now he does this combo here, and watch what he does at the very end. He will pull out his bow if none of the primary swings hit you, and he'll fire it at you. So be careful of that, because that is almost an instant kill with how much health you have right now. Once again, he does his stab here. I back up, stab him. It's a pretty difficult fight. He does his sweep, but he doesn't do it into the stab because I'm a little bit too far away. I regain some of my poise by blocking. And then he does his stab. You need to be sure where that glint is. If the glint is in front of him, block and try and parry it. If the glint is spinning around him, you have to jump upwards. If you try and jump while he's stabbing, you will get hit. And that's the end of the fight. It is very, very difficult. It is very difficult, but if you dedicate yourself to it enough, you can win. You just need to know Genichiro well. So, I want to go over the statistics of this fight before anything else, before we wrap up this video. Alright, in this section of the video in particular, I want to break down something that can be used in pretty much every Souls game, right? Every Souls game, Sekiro especially. That is music theory. The theory that music is capable of influencing these games if we're able to, you know, understand it. So I want to go over the fight and teach you how to dodge or deflect some of his more difficult attacks to get through, using almost like a beat. There's a beat to this game, and there's a beat to every attack, and if you understand that beat and how it flows, then you're going to have a much better time playing this game. Every boss has one, and I'll be kind of dinging along with it occasionally to show you exactly what I mean by a beat. And if you can keep these beats in mind while you're fighting Genichiro at this stage of the game, you can easily defeat him. So, we see here that he's got a kind of a pattern to him, you know? Even his upward slashes have a pattern to them. But the attack in particular I want to show you guys is this one, where he widens his gait and starts his jump. When he starts his jump like this, there's a very specific pattern to it. You can actually hear it, and I'll kind of ding along with it to show you. You can hear when his blade hits yours when you deflect it properly. And just keep this beat in mind when he does this. When he jumps like this, you want to go ding, ding. That same kind of like pattern. Ding, ding. Even his actual like hit pattern has that kind of monicum to it. And when he ends it with a stab, ding, ding, ding. It's a lot easier if you understand music theory. Now, I know I sound like an absolute crazy man right now, but it is absolutely true. All of his attacks have a beat to them, and if you're able to understand that, watch it again. Ding, ding. You can easily beat Genichiro. Ding. It's very difficult to understand. Ding, ding. But you can get a hang of it pretty well if you just listen carefully. Even right here. You jump backwards. You go in. Ding. Easy as that. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit so you can actually hear it properly. You can hear these sound effects that come in. So now with the sound effects, you can actually hear what I'm talking about. When he does this jump attack, you can hear it audibly. Ding, ding. Right there. Keep that pattern in mind and you can easily do that. Easily. Even his other attacks have the same pattern. Right here. Ding, 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 ding. He brings it up. Those two slices in the middle are very silent. Even with how he throws out that quick slash before his grab, it has a pattern to it. It has a beat. If you understand this, you can get through the game pretty easily. The slash even has it. Hell, even the sound effect you get when you get one of these special attacks thrown on you, that has a beat to it warning you about it. So we got ding, get stabbed. I didn't hear the beat properly. I was too distracted. You see, even his normal attacks have this like little pattern to it, like he's playing a song. So, while I'm fighting here, I do want to explain another thing to you real quick. Ding! I want to explain another thing to you real quick. Genichiro's HP. Genichiro has one of the longer HP bars in the entire game, but this specific version of him actually has slightly less HP than you would think. Right here, I'll show you the pattern again. Ding, 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 ding. Very good. If you can understand what I mean by this, you can get through the game, like I've said. Especially with his jumping stab. Ding, ding. There you go. So, moving on. Genichiro's health in this fight is actually lower than it would be normally, so you have a better chance at actually beating him here. And he does not, as far as I know, he does not do any of his multi-shots with his bows, or at least he does them very, very rarely. He will do his multi-shots very rarely. He'll do them very, very rarely. I've only seen him do it maybe once. Maybe I'm misremembering it, though. In the second phase of the fight, though, there is something to keep in mind, which is his bow. His bow actually has like a little ripcord sound effect to it, where he pulls the string back, and even that has a beat to it. So we'll get into that in a second, but you can audibly hear the string being full drawn from the bow when he uses it. But as far as his other attacks go, such as his stabs, which I'm pretty sure I only got hit by stabs and one slash throughout this entire thing, it works pretty well. That, however, is very quick. If you listen to that, bing ding, that's the pattern for it. When it warns you and when it comes in, the dunk, the noise that you hear when you hear the warning for the special attacks, ba-dunk, it comes in very quick, da-dunk, bang. It hits very fast and it's very hard to avoid. I got lucky that he didn't do this multiple times. So I kind of heal here, and around here is where he actually uses the bow for the first time. He full draws it. You can hear it. It's almost like he's playing music. Throw the ashes at him. Stab him. Throw the ashes at him. Stab him. And then he comes around the rock. I try and stab him here, but it doesn't work, and I end up falling back. You can hear when he pulls this bow back. Listen very carefully. I'll actually keep silent while he does this. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? When you hear that bang, depending on your distance, of course, that's when you block. And your distance is something you have to judge based on the beat of the fight. But when you do that, it works pretty well. Ding. It works very well. That stab can actually be avoided if he sweeps first, because you'll have more distance on him. Keep this in mind as we go forwards. Ding. And then with this, it isn't ding, ding. No, it's ding, 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 ding. That second ding is when you have to jump. When you actually have to jump during the fight. It's a very good way to basically measure the boss's attacks and know your timing. Because this game is all about timing attacks. Ooh, you can kind of get away from that if he does it far away from you, but I wouldn't suggest trying to dodge through that. I would just take that head on and try and deflect it. It's the best you can really do. Another good stabbing opportunity here. Ding. Oh, ding. 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 Very good. Now you got to keep in here a little bit. This is a good opportunity to actually get some stagger on him, but you can hear it. You can even hear it when he pulls the bow back normally, that clicking noise you hear occasionally as the bowstring strains against the hollow of the bow. That right there, you can predict based on how fast it's going to come out when you should parry. You gotta listen to it. If you don't have the ability to understand music theory, or you don't care about it, you're gonna have a hard time with this game. Blocking is always important. Even right here, where I actually kill him. Ding, ding. Keep that beat in your head and you will absolutely win every single time. As Wolf is getting Genichiro in the background of this beautiful moonlit night, I would like to ask all of you to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a lovely day, and do be aware that I will be making videos for all of the Sekiro bosses from here on. Then I might move to another Souls game. You know, that whole stuff. This is what I do best. It really is. So I hope you enjoy. I may even do like a permadeath playthrough of Sekiro at one point. Hope you're ready for that. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and see you all later. Bye-bye.